Hi, I'm Nathan Oakley, and this is video log number 66. Martin Lietzke is superb. I've had him on Flat Earth UK live a couple of times, and the most recent was in response to TigerDan, who we should all be thanking, and yet he's getting a massive amount of grief because he's human, and he's had a knee-jerk reaction to a revelation regarding the maps, and has subsequently been quite clever after his knee-jerk reaction, which is to point fingers, and turned the finger on himself and has started looking at his own proofs of flat Earth and going back and dissecting them in great detail. And that's wonderful. It's always good to scrutinise exactly what you've discovered, and we can only thank TigerDan that he's doing this, because it keeps everybody on their toes. It makes sure that we're singing from the same hymn sheet. We've made no errors along the way in the path, which has been short. Let's not be too coy about this. Flat Earth is new to most of the people who are going to be certainly watching this video. But yeah, subscribe to Martin, or Flat Earth British as he announces himself to be at the beginning of his videos. Now, his most recent video, which was about 55 minutes long, I've just got through watching it, is brilliant. It's Martin at his best. He's very endearing, and he's presenting fair bit or quite a lot of very good information. One of the things was on Tycho Brahe and Al-Biruni, and both, I think, certainly Tycho Brahe was covered by Jeren a couple of months ago, maybe a bit less, explaining that he's not a heliocentric believer, and essentially points out that anything that's up in the sky that we describe as being planets, in essence, is not real. That's not what they are. But there we go. Martin's found sort of books that point out that the North Pole seems to have these 4 segmented islands, a bit like, I've forgotten what the name is, but there's like a name of a toy that had 4 sections in the middle, and you tapped it and it was called Dave or John or something like that, but it made notes. It was used in one of the American Dad episodes, and they all go nuts and get hypnotised by these 4 sections. You probably can't see it, but I will put a link to the video, and you can just make it out on his book, where he's pointing to the top of the globe with these 4 sections, and Martin pointed out that he sees this in lots of maps. It comes up time and time again. Now, the other person, aside from TigerDan, that's not a flat earther, but is about to get a huge amount of aggravation, is Dustin, or however he pronounces his name, from Smarter Every Day. Now, like anybody, he's not woken up to flat Earth. He's just a normal guy, and he's managed to get himself in a position where he's talking to the president, he's at NASA, he's at the Neutral Buoyancy Lab, you name it, he's there. And it's because he's keen, he's enthusiastic about what he likes talking about. He's, like Martin, very endearing, a really nice family guy. But I think it's Truth Media Revolution or something, one YouTube channel, has decided this guy is evil, lying to us because he promotes NASA's lies. And he's like 99% of people. He's not woken up to this. But that doesn't mean we should demonise people like TigerDan and people like Destin from Smarter Every Day. It's unreasonable. Why are we behaving like this? I've used Smarter Everyday examples to trolls to demonstrate things like buoyancy, density. He's great. Why are we knocking him? Who was it? I think it was the Morgile no, it was Mark Sargent, pointed out that he'd done a video on the Coriolis and debunked it. Now, this guy's not a flat earther, but he's a good researcher, and he's very approachable, and he's got more power to him. We want to get people like this on our side and not paint them as monsters. It's crazy behaviour. Anybody who's not a flat earther, you want these people to be your friends too. Why would you want to segregate yourself away into a little cult that is flat Earth, when you can open people's minds to it if they're willing, and if they're not, so what? Just go about your life with your beliefs. The Christians have managed to do this for a long time, and there is the odd exception. My brother, when he was an atheist, along with his extremely well informed and educated in religion, his wife, who's also an atheist, point out that you have a certain degree with some, not all, Christians in their experience, where they will go through mad benders, become drunks and heroin addicts and party, but they will reform, and probably the American example would be, I think it's the 10-step program or whatever it is that Alcoholics Anonymous run, and upon reform will then preach to people who are in that position, or alcoholics or heroin addicts or people who are just partying and aren't any of the above, and tell them that they should reform their ways after partying themselves. And I know certain family members of mine get accused of this when it may not be the case at all. But we can't point fingers. I'm sure there's a, let he who's without sin cast the first stone and all that. And it's so true. At least someone like TigerDan has turned the finger on himself and said, I'm going to revise my own information and debunk myself. Why not? Rob Skiba did exactly the same thing when he assessed the Epic footage and said, there's no way it would look at this scale. There's no way the moon would be that size, until he set it up to scale and then debunked himself. And that's what we should be doing. We should turn the fingers towards ourselves, not smarter every day. But, I'm sure I've left comments saying the world is flat on his videos, but I'll compliment him on how great his job is done at pointing out, helium moves forward when you accelerate in a car, a helium balloon. It doesn't react the way that some people might expect a pendulum to work, and that's a useful example when you're explaining about the density of gases or solids or whatever it is. So yeah, I recommend Smarter Every Day. I may even put that video as a link in the description, along with Martin Lietzke and Flat Earth British, some of the videos that he's done maybe. But yeah, we don't need to demonise people. TigerDan has blown the map thing wide open, and we can only thank him for this. Yeah, he's human, and he has slightly overreacted in his finger pointing. So what? He's just a guy. Don't turn him into a monster. I've been Nathan Oakley. I'll see you all in the next video.